Rebecca from Creative Ramblings, and I am so excited to be hosting this show on Hometalk today. Hometalk is the world's largest DIY community for home and garden. If you are watching this premiere live on Hometalk, I am down in the comments right now answering your questions. So be sure to say hey, and we can chat about this project as we go forward. So we're jumping into Christmas, and I am going to show you how to create this wood crate that makes a beautiful centerpiece. So there's a lot going on here. It's a painted crate. It has some beautiful hand lettering on the front. I'm going to show you tricks for that. And we're going to talk about how to style this crate to work as a centerpiece on your table. So let's jump right in. This whole project starts with this right here. This is just a basic wood crate that still has the tag on it. I picked it up at the store. You can find these at any craft store, Walmart, Amazon, anything like that. As you're watching here, you can find a link to all the materials that I use. So if you're curious about where to get something like this, click on that link and you can find the materials list. So we are going to paint this with chalkboard paint. And we're going to do that because I want to be able to reuse this crate and put different words on it for different seasons. So chalkboard paint comes in a spray paint, but it also comes in a paint that you can brush on. And that's what we're going to use today. So we're going to protect the surface here, and we're going to start painting. So I really like using chalkboard paint. I actually really like using the spray paint, but it's a little cold out here today, and if the weather isn't cooperating where you are, the brush-on paint is just a lot easier to use indoors. A couple notes about using chalkboard paint. Whether it's in a spray paint can or this came out of like a quart container, shake it really, really, really well before you use it. And like this, I'm going to keep stirring it as I'm using it. You want to make sure that it's always mixed really well so it keeps those chalkboard properties on it. And just like any paint, you want to apply thin coats, so very, very thin coats over the whole piece, and then let it dry for about 20 minutes or so, and you can come back and do a second coat until you get that coverage that you want. Now with a crate like this, I want to be able to use it, for Christmas, and then maybe I could make a winter scene out of it. I am going to paint the inside of it too, because, you never know. You might want to use this for something else, and you might be able to see the inside. So we're going to go ahead and paint the inside too. So like I said, I am live down in the comments, chatting with you, answering your questions. So I am up here in Wisconsin, getting ready for Christmas because we have had snow already, and it kind of feels like Christmas outside. So let me know where you're from down in the comments. Let me know if you've had snow yet. It actually makes crafting for Christmas a lot easier when I look outside and there's already snow on the ground. Mixed in with some beautiful orange and red leaves though too, which is kind of funny. Okay, so we are going to switch gears here a little bit. You know how to paint a crate. Take the paintbrush, paint it over, let it dry for 20 minutes, come back and do a second coat on it, let that dry completely, and then, just like magic, you have a fully painted crate. Painted inside and out on all the different sides, and we are ready to move on to the next step. So I'm going to put my paint over here out of the way, and we are going to talk about lettering. So I'm going to bring this other crate back over here, and we're going to talk a little bit about how to do this. Now, full disclosure, I don't have the best handwriting. And again, let me know in those comments down there. Tell me about your handwriting. Mine is kind of chicken scratches. My kids like to tell me that they can't read my cursive. So I can't write this by hand. So I'm going to show you a trick that you can use on chalkboard or with paint or with anything to make it look like you have beautiful handwriting. And you don't need any special tools to do it. So this crate here says, Silent Night, Holy Night. And then we turn it around and it says, all is calm, all is bright. Beautiful messages here. So to do this, here's what you need. You need to head head over to your computer and print out some song lyrics, because that's what we're going with here. And I printed them out. Silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright. You don't need any special software. A Word document or a Google Doc will work just fine to print this. Just make sure that your letter sizing fits the size of the slats on your crate. And there are a ton of different sizes of crates out there. This is about 1.25 inches at its tallest. So, measure your crate before you do that. So you're going to need to print something out. No special tools required again. Now we're going to cut it. So I'm going to cut all of these lines apart. So each line is going to be on a different area of the crate. So we're just going to cut that out. And I love the idea of doing song lyrics for Christmas. I think it's a lot of fun. But you could do anything, really. So we've got these. The next thing you're going to need is a piece of chalk. Just a plain old piece of chalk for a chalkboard. Nothing special. So we've got letters and chalk. Then grab a little bit of tape because we're going to use it to hold it in place. A pencil. So far nothing super special here. I'm sure you have all of this at home. And then you're going to need a chalk marker. Now again, I have a supply list that you can click on the link next to this video and find out where to get all of these supplies. But a good white chalk marker, not too thick of a tip, is what you're going to need for this. So to get these on, here's what we're going to start with. We're going to take one of our pieces, and I'm going to move these over so you can see everything really well here. And I'm going to take my piece of chalk, and I am just going to color on the back of the paper. So you can kind of see the words through the back of the paper. I want to make sure that the chalk covers those letters. And this technique works a lot like carbon paper. If you ever used a carbon copy, it is going to help us transfer these words to the crate. So I'm going to shake off a little bit of that excess chalk there. And I'm going to put it on here. So I'm going to line it up about where I think I want it. Tip it this way for just a moment. And then I'm going to use a little bit of tape to hold it in place while we move on to the next step. Now just know that I am live in the comments right now. So if you have any questions, let me know if I can clarify any of this for you. But what we've done is we've taken our words and a little bit of chalk on the back of the words, and we've taped it to the crate. That's all we've done so far. Now, fancy tool, we're going to use a pencil here, and we're just going to start tracing or coloring in these letters here. Nothing too fancy. And what this does is this is pushing the chalk that's on the back of the paper into the chalkboard paint here, and it's going to leave an impression. So what it's going to leave for us is a place where I can draw over these letters using my chalk marker. And when you're doing it with a pencil here, it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be enough that you can follow these lines once you take it off. So I've done the all is. We're going to peek here and see what it looks like. Look at that. All is. And so you can see that I didn't really trace everything. I didn't really fill in the S. I'm going to come back and do that with my chalk marker in a little bit. So we'll put that back down and finish up the word bright. So I would love to know a little bit about you. I'm going to tell you a little bit about me. I blog over at Creative Ramblings, and I like sharing simple, inspiring projects there. So all kinds of stuff that you can recreate at home, just like this. So if that is something that interests you, go check out my page, and we can craft together even more than this. You can also find me regularly here on Hometalk, sharing all kinds of fun home and DIY projects. All right, so we are tracing over the letters with a pencil, letting that chalk transfer down onto the crate. All right, ready for the reveal? Ta-da! Beautiful. Okay, so let me get some of this off here. I could leave it. I could go in with a piece of chalk and just leave it really looking like this. It's all in your preference. But what I'm going to do now is take a chalk marker and go over it to really kind of darken the lines. When you're using a chalk marker, shake it really, really good. And the first time you use it, you're going to want to test it on a sheet of paper and just kind of push it down a little bit and make sure that the chalk is flowing. I know this one works because I tested it out before we came on here. But then we're just going to go over all the lines here. Now, I told you I don't have very good handwriting, but because I have traced or put this chalk on here, I am even able to do this upside down, you guys. That's how awesome this technique is. We're going to turn it just a little bit here. All right. Let's move this over. So, we can just do this. Now, this technique doesn't have to just be reserved for chalkboard and chalk markers. You can do this with anything, really. So let's say that you wanted to paint this crate. You could paint it any color you want. Use that technique I just showed you to get this lettering on there. And then you could go over it and paint it with a fine paintbrush, just like we're doing with the chalk mark here, or chalk marker. Just go ahead and do it with a paintbrush. You could even, if you wanted a more natural look, you could stain the wood and then again use this technique to get the stuff you wanted, the letters you wanted. Also not limited to letters. You could print out an image that you really liked, maybe a graphic you really liked, and go ahead and copy that onto your wood using this chalk technique, and then come back and color it in. So your options, you have a lot of options. All right, so we are working on the word bright here. I love using song lyrics for this. You could, so this is going to be kind of a sparkly, calming look to it, but you could do a lot of different things. So let's say, I don't know, tell me what song would you use on here? If you had to do something other than Silent Night, you could do like, you could do Jingle Bells and maybe fill it with bells and ribbon and make it really festive, that kind of thing. So there are a ton of options here. All right, so we are going to move on to the next step. So let's move some of this out of the way here. And again, just like magic, I am going to turn this around for you. Get this here and show you what it looks like. So it says Silent Night, Holy Night, and I filled it in a little bit, made the letters a little bit thicker, and then on the back it's going to say all is calm, all is bright. So now it is time to style this piece. And I'm going to move some of this lettering stuff out of the way here and show you how I like to style this crate. This is something that has been a centerpiece on my table for a while, and I've used it over the years. So on this one here, what I did is I have just some green faux floral sprigs, and I use these year-round all over the place. Then I gathered up a whole bunch of ornaments in silver and gold, and these twinkle lights here. I don't know, it might be kind of hard to see with the bright lights, but battery-powered twinkle lights in there. And then the crate is aligned with some burlap. So I'm going to show you how to make one that's a little bit different style. So in this crate here, I have some options. You could line it with burlap, just like I did with the other one. You could line it, this is a dish towel that, you know, looks kind of festive. You could line it with that, maybe some buffalo check. I am going to line it with a piece of plaid flannel that I have. It's from a project last year, and it's got some frayed edges on it. So I am going to choose that one to line it. And then we are going to fill it. So to fill it, here's another trick. This is a big crate, and I could use, you know, a whole container of ornaments to fill it up. Or we can get a little tricky, and we could put some filler in the bottom. Now you could use shredded paper or something like that, I'm going to use some plastic bags from my kitchen and just go ahead and fill it up. So here's how this step works. We're going to take the fabric that I want to line it with and just push it down inside of here so that it kind of hangs over the edge. It doesn't cover up my words. And then, let's see, yep, you can still see all the words here. Then I'm going to take a few bags and just push them way down in the middle there. And I'm going to make sure when styling this that I just fill up all that plastic. But I'm loving how this looks with the kind of frayed edges here. And you're not going to see any of my plastic bags coming through on this end. All right, so let's talk about how to fill a piece like this. I went through my ornaments and I gathered up all kinds of different sparkly pieces. So I grabbed some gold, I grabbed some silver, some white, and I even found some jingle bells. This is one of those things where I didn't have to go buy new ornaments for it. And I bet you if you went through your ornament stash, you could probably find something to do this with. I did also pull out some pine cones that we're going to use here, and then some greenery. I've got some beautiful greenery here that we're going to use. Now, when you're styling a basket like this, where we're going to see it from both sides, you want to make sure that it looks good from both sides. So I'm going to start with some greenery kind of towards the bottom. And it doesn't, this is kind of a wintry greenery. It doesn't have to be winter. You know, you can use something like this one that's a little more all season. But we're going to use some winter greenery. Then we're going to add some lights. So this is a battery-powered set of twinkle lights, and this is a really warm, soft glow. So it is going to be super hard to see right now, but it's a really nice glow. So if you had maybe a candlelit dinner or you just turned the lights down, this is going to show up. So I'm going to take this battery pack and I'm going to tuck it in here and just spread these lights throughout. And I'm going to make sure that it is accessible so that I can turn it on and off when I'm done with it. All right, now we're going to start adding the ornaments. So we're going to start with big pieces. And I'm actually going to start with one of these. These are some ornaments that I just love. And we're just going to put a couple of these guys in. Maybe just one of these in. Styling can be really personal. You never want to take and just copy exactly what somebody else is doing because that's not going to be your style. So I want to know if you were going to do this, what would you use? What colors would you use? Do you like metallics like this, or would you go with something a little bit different? I would love to hear. Remember, I am down there in the comments, so ask your questions and let me know what you think about this and what you would use to style it. So I'm loving that the bags are on the bottom here, so I don't have to go down super far. I can just kind of put my ornaments right on top. And then as I go, these twinkle lights are kind of sticking out, wrapping them around the ornaments. Got some pretty ones in here. This is one of my favorite ornaments. My kids got this for me. It's a neat way to display it. And let's see, maybe a few more gold over here. Maybe a few more white on this side. Sparkly really fits my style. It's something that I really enjoy doing. I love having all the gold and glitter at the holiday season. What's your style like? Are you a sparkly kind of person? Do you like the traditional, you know, with the plaids and the sparkle? Are you a red and green vibrant person? We all have our own style, and decorating for the holidays is an awesome time to really show off your personal style. I am going to add in just a few pine cones in here too, to give kind of that natural look. We've already got the greenery, so why not add in a few more natural elements here. A couple more ornaments. And I like these ornaments to actually have the silver part show on the top to show that this is a collection of ornaments. All right, so we can kind of keep going and keep adding to this until it's really nice and full. So what I'm loving about this is I can take this and it says, Silent Night on this side. We've got our plaid showing through here. But then on the other side, once I finish this here, it looks beautiful as well. So you can really see both sides. So you can go set this in the middle of your table, maybe put some candles around the outside, and your guests can see it from all sides. And it can look beautiful from all sides. So I hope you liked this. I hope this inspired you to go create something for Christmas. And know that you can use this year-round. Because this is chalkboard paint, you can take a paper towel, just a wet paper towel, wipe that right off, and do something again for winter, for spring, for whatever season you are decorating for next. So if you liked this video, let me know down in the comments, and I'm going to stick around for a few minutes. So if you have any more questions, I'm live in the comments. Ask me your questions, throw me out your comments, let me know. And be sure to like Hometalk's page so you can find all kinds of other videos. I will be back with more videos. In the meantime, head over to Creative Ramblings where you can find me crafting new stuff every day. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Have a fantastic day and an